But people who don't like Greg Eden think that he's the worst defensive liability on the pitch, and people that do like him think he's your biggest threat on the pitch. And I mean, I don't support any of the teams he's ever played for, so it doesn't bother me that he drops the ball a bit, because it never upsets me, because it never affects my team. But I love seeing him on the pitch for Cass going forward. I mean, the try that he helped set up for Jack Sanderson, Mike McMeekan, by the way, had a great part in that. Mike McMeekan was pretty average, I'd say, to start this year, and also when they immediately came out of lockdown. But the last 4 games or so, at 4 or 5, I think he's been one of their most consistent performers for Cass in the last month.
He has gone up a gear in the last 5 or 6 weeks, I'd say.
But I'd have Greg Eden in my Cass side every time. He scores a try a game for them. Yeah, he lets in a few tries as well. I know there was 3 or 4 tries down his wing, but they weren't all his fault, if any of them were his fault, in fact, in this game. But he scores a try a game for them over his career there, and is still scoring at that rate now. And when the ball bounces and it's broken play, he's the only player I see in that Cass side that truly, in that Cass side that was playing this week, certainly, that truly has the chance to take advantage of it. I just don't get why he's not picked.
He's still Greg Eden. That's why.
That's why, yeah. Someone who might be worried about their place, if there was any chance of competition for places, I suppose, with squad depths and stuff, it'd be Chase Blair. Because as much as we credit Jake Wardle, maybe it was all about Jake Wardle making him look average, but this is a player who's played in NRL Grand Finals. He looked nothing like that calibre up against the young centre for Huddersfield.
I don't even remember. I couldn't name something he did in that game. I mean,
and that's what he did.
And that seems to be the case with Chase. But the last few games I've watched, I've generally forgotten he's on the pitch until I've read the League Express 2 days later.
Yeah, well, good win for Huddersfield, and they're showing real improvement at the moment under Robinson. Moving on to the first game on Friday, it was Warrington versus Catalans. It was 12-all at half-time, but Warrington ran out 30 points to 16 winners in the end. Robert Hicks was the man with the whistle. In terms of the teams, we did get stats in the end, Tim. This is another one of them things I rushed in to do at the end before we recorded today. With more metres and more offloads, 8 more breaks and a 5.7% better team tackle success, numbers have Wire as deserved winners. Individually, Matty Ashton, 1 try assist, 157 metres, 4 clean breaks. Mike Cooper, 10 marker tackles, 130 metres, 4 successful offloads. Toby King, 136 metres and 4 successful offloads, leading for some of his teammates to say he should be in the England conversation. And Jack Hughes with a try assist and 41 tackles. For Catalans, and this really surprised me, but the homophobic outside back Israel Folau had 9 tackles, 166 metres, 2 clean breaks and 4 successful offloads. I don't even remember him being on the pitch. On the other side, Sammy Soni Lang had a try assist and 154 metres. Fuad Yaha, 1 try and 141 metres. And Tom Davies, 1 try, 123 metres and 2 successful offloads. So lots of metres gained by the Catalans outside backs, but their forwards were not able to match it with the Warrington side, I think, in this one. One fan view for us to cover off.
Yeah, so at Mike Dodd 22 says, another cracking win for the Wire. Great to see big contributions from Davis and Walker off the bench when we need it. Matty Ashton superb once again. I hope there's a contract on the table for the man of the match, Mamo. The interview was something else too. I mean, let's start with that interview, because that's got to be up there for moment of the year, sure. It's just superb.
The realisation when he swore, he wasn't sure if he was bothered about it or not. And that was a culmination of this puppet show he was putting on before that.
and then he was going, I was chuffed. It was the trying to correct it and trying to be as English as possible. I just, hats off to him. It was, maybe he has, as he said, taken too many blows to the head, but keep on giving them, chaps, because that was fun.
Yeah, I don't think we want him out in front of the cameras very often from a league publicity point of view. From the the press management side of things, but from a pure entertainment value, get him up in front of the microphone every week. I didn't realise he was this. I mean, you know that there was the stories about him, like his motorcycle and that sort of stuff, and obviously we all know that he used to go out with my mum. But clearly, since she let him go, he's gone completely nuts. He was just bonkers, weren't he?
Yeah. And you know what? I like that, and I used to like that about another player before we found out something about his personal life. But you know, I don't want to see that beaten out of players. I want him to know that we appreciate that.
Yeah, within the range. You know, don't go outside of it like some people might have done. He got 3 Man of Steel points as well. Sam Tompkins got 2 and Matty Ashton got 1, whereas in the Albert Goldthorpe it was Ashton with 3, Tompkins with 2 and Mamo with 1. Tompkins was good, Sam Tompkins, in the first half for Catalans. Those 2 try assists were absolute beauties, weren't they? And there was another couple of opportunities he created where the final pass didn't just quite come off. But he was a bright spark for Catalans. But ultimately, Warrington was so much better down the middle of the pitch, especially as the game went on into the second half, and the enthusiasm off the bench that was mentioned by Mike, I think certainly played a role in it.
And the work that Widdop did for Ashton's wonder try, I think as well, that probably needs a moment of spotlight, because that was good work. He put the pass in at the exact right time to just give him the opportunity.
Yeah, and it was almost like the break was good, the build-up with King and Widdop was good, and the break was good, but the kick just felt like, if I put this through, he's going to get there. So it didn't really matter how precise or not the kick was. I don't think it was his best kick, but Ashton was so quick that he kind of got through, curved round, grabbed it and went and scored.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just, executed perfectly, really.
If we're talking wonder tries, though, if we're at that stage of the conversation for this game, I think it's the Gelling try, but more the work that was done beforehand. And the Sky recap of this showed it really well, didn't they? About where Mamo just had probably because he's been a fullback as well in his time, just had a sniff, didn't he, for where he wanted to be. But that pass from Austin was one of the best passes I've ever seen, just because he was running so hard in one direction to be able to throw the ball backwards in the other direction and actually make sure the ball travelled backwards, because so many times you see a pass like that and it ends up going forwards. That was just brilliant. And then Mamo's offload, I was like, he must have touched the floor, but he didn't. He got it through. It was a great piece of play, one of my favourite pieces of play from the weekend, certainly.
Yeah, no, it was top skill, and they just put on a good show to outmuscle and outskill the Catalan team.
One other note from this: Joel Tompkins got a caution for other contrary behaviour. That was for the hair pull, weren't it, on the aforementioned box of frogs that is Jake Mamo.
Yeah, well, if you're going to have hair of a certain length, expect it to get pulled.
I mean, it was out of line, but it hopefully this caution will serve the appropriate and stop him from doing something that silly again. I don't feel like I have much else to cover on this one. Really, James Maloney. If you look at the rap sheet for the disciplinary, it's James Maloney high tackle in the 50th minute, James Maloney high tackle in the 60th minute, James Maloney high tackle in the 70th. Eventually, he was going to get sin-bid for his high tackles, and he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what to expect. But it was the classic way he was just whinging on about it in the way only James Maloney can. But there we go.
Okay, on to the last game then in this round of Super League, and it was Wigan versus Wakefield. Another one that was 12-all at half-time. Wigan came out 28-16 winners in the end. James Child was the man with the whistle in this match. In terms of the stats, Wigan had 5 more breaks and 1.3 metres per carry better average game were headline wins for Wigan in this one. They also had a 2.5% better tackle success rate and won this despite making 2 more handling errors and giving up more penalties in the game than Wakefield did. So made it hard for themselves, Wigan, but overcame that. Individually, Liam, my man, Farrell, 1 try assist, 42 tackles.
You're getting breathless just so saying his name. Right, I'm going to give you a minute to toss him off about this game, and then
I'm just doing his stats for now. 1 try assist, 42 tackles, 7 tackles, 228 metres and 2 clean breaks. Oliver Partington, 62 tackles, 10 marker tackles, and 123 metres. That's going both ways with added extras.
With extras.
Sam Powell, 1 try, 62 tackles, 16 of which were marker tackles. God, no wonder those two have been sat down for the midweek game. Bevan French, 2 tries, 8 tackles, 176 metres and 3 clean breaks. And then for the losing Wakefield side, a man who impressed me in the game and went both ways was Tini Arona. 1 try, 40 tackles, 13 marker tackles and 124 metres. Tom Johnston back in action, and aren't we all glad to see that? 1 try, 140 metres, 2 clean breaks. Kalepi Tanginoa, 144 metres for the rampaging back rower, and Reese Lynn, 126 metres. We had 1 fan view. Can you deliver on this one, Tim?
Yeah, at Mike Dodd 22 in the voice of comic book guy. Worst video refereeing decision ever. That became Donald Trump, but there we go.
Same difference. Man of Steel points. Partington got 3. For that solid all-round effort. Farrell got 2 and Powell got 1. In the Albert Goldthorpe, Frenchie was the man of the match on Sky as well, got 3. Jacob Miller, who had some really good moments for Wakefield close to the Wigan line, he got 2, and Sam Powell got 1. I'm surprised Jackson Hastings doesn't figure in any of that, because he scored a try that helped Wigan get back into it, but also his defensive effort in this game was really impressive and deserving of comment and respect. But yeah, what did you make of it?
I mean, there was a lot that you'd expect, wasn't there? I mean, as we said, Liam Farrell doing Liam Farrell things. I think the effort again from Wigan was good. Hastings, someone I called out as doing well. Again, Bevan French, he's got that electricity going through him, and he's just got his, I don't know if it's enthusiasm, skill, or just almost an X factor there's something about him that's just amazing to watch as a neutral. And I imagine, as you said, as you've alluded to a few times, if he's on your team, it's even better.
It's just like some of the situations where he ends up getting through, you think, well, there must have been an obstruction there, or there must have been something untoward there. There must have been something weird there for him to end up that far away from anyone else on the pitch. But I think his first try was fantastic, where Wigan really stretched Wakefield's defence. Burgess got round the outside and passed it back inside to French, who'd set Burgess free. So that was great work. Credit must be given to Wakefield for their start to this game. It's the best start they've had to any game this season. Certainly the best start since lockdown, when we've seen all the games. So credit to them there. But what I would say is that first 20 minutes, they got a little bit lucky that Wigan's goal line defence was not Wigan's typical goal line defence. Especially the Arona try, there was a bit of lethargy out of marker from Wigan. And a few bits like that, and Miller's close try. We saw in the second half the flip of this. The first 20 minutes of the second half, Wakefield were asked good again in terms of getting field position and getting into threatening positions, but Wigan's goal line defence was absolutely different class in that second half. The amount of close calls where Wigan's defenders stopped to try being scored, headlined, absolutely, by the Bibby one. I mean, Jake Bibby's not any Wigan fans first name on the team sheet. I'm sure he'll understand that we'd rather have had Don Manfredi out there, sort of thing. But that tackle on Alex Walker to keep the try out, it was phenomenal. You don't see many defensive efforts that are that clearly amazing.